Today in the crypto space, we see Bitcoin getting a nice recovery after a bit of a dip overnight. Bitcoin back to about 89,000 and change. Ethereum doing pretty good, at least holding steady right around that $3,200 mark. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, a mix of green and red. We do have a few dips like Celestia, Phantom, Caspa, and a few others. While we do see some of the good gainers like Doge continue to the upside, we have a wake-up call for XRP and HBAR and a few others. Guys, in today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that is doing pretty good at the bottom of the range, waiting for its opportunity, and that project is called Arweave. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. The market cap still doing okay, guys. I know there was a bit of a dip here overnight. We did wake up to a bit of red all morning. We've been seeing a bit of red, but Bitcoin is recovered, guys, pretty much. We're back to $89,378, guys, right back to where we came from, doing pretty good. And the market cap is also doing a very similar thing. We do see a bit of a volume, a bit of a tick to the downside with regards to volume, but still okay, guys. The market is still okay. Now, what we could be seeing is the beginning of a structure formation on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin continues with this type of volatility where we see choppiness, we definitely can see Bitcoin create some sort of flag or even retrace a little bit here. And this is what I have been saying in the last little while. Guys, be prepared for dips. If you have been taking profit the last couple of days, I've been saying take 10% off your highest gaining trades, take 10% off the top so you have some capital to deploy. Guys, you currently have an opportunity to buy some dips across the market. The market right now is giving you some good opportunities, but I guess a lot of us are questioning whether we're going to come down for a little bit more of a dip in the next little while. So we'll definitely take a look at the top 100. We'll use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. We're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart, and then I'm going to jump onto the Arweave chart, because I think Arweave at the end of the day is the opportunity. Arweave is undervalued in my opinion. I think the structure, the price action right now is definitely within our favor. We definitely have an edge there. So we'll take a look at that chart in a second. In the meantime, let's take a look at the top 100, just get a sense of what's going on here. You can see that the trend is still our friend, regardless of a dip. Even Dogecoin dip, but it's still up 19% today. Okay, so we have to understand that there's going to be volatility. XRP finally waking up, the OG of stable coins. Look at this thing, up 40% in the last 7 days. That's healthy. 16% in the last 24 hours. That's great. And we're seeing XRP move, which means that the market in general, this is proof that in general, we do see a lot of projects move. It doesn't matter what narrative. It doesn't matter which chain. It doesn't matter. We see projects move. We see capital flow, rotation. We see a lot of people take full advantage of just pure price action when we see healthy risk to reward ratios and many aspects within trading and your strategies, right? So right now we're seeing a lot of goodness. Solana taking a bit of a dip. Okay, it's down 3%. Big deal. As we go down, we can see a little bit more dips than expected on some projects. We see some of them holding strength, like Polkadot holding strength, going sideways. Pepe still within its upwards grind, as you can see. Uniswap still going sideways, and a pullback on ICP, and a few little pullbacks. If FET coming down a little bit, 11%, Caspa 8%. As we keep on going down, you see there's opportunities across the market, dips here and there. Nothing major. HBAR up 19%, Render up 10%. So there's still opportunities while we see the altcoins, take a bit of a break, right? We still see some random projects doing very well. And this is the thing here, guys. Bonk 25%, while we see a 5% dip across the market. Some of of them more, like Phantom right now is down approximately 8.6%, 9%, but in the last 7 days it's been up 30%. In the last 3 weeks it's been up crazy amount of percentages to the upside. So this is what we have to understand. Short-term dips in this market are meant to be bought. Start DCAing on the red days, right? Double-digit dips are great opportunities for sure. Now we have Thorchain Rune down approximately 10.5%. That's a double-digit dip. We could come down for a little bit more. And obviously, we'll take a look at charts and stuff. Guys, join me live tonight at 8 p.m. EST. We'll take a look at charts, and the best part is I take requests. If you have any projects you want me to take a look at, you let me know. I pull up the charts, we find some structure, we find some support, we find some resistance, we come up with setups that are going to give you the edge for the next move to the upside. So feel free to join. Again, that is 8 p.m. EST. And we talk about crypto news and price action. Let's continue going down. You see that the market in general is dipping a little bit here, guys. Okay, so the question is, do we start scaling into these 5-6% dips? There's some good ones. Mantras, getting a bit of volatility, going sideways here. Could it break out and continue? Is it short-term overvalued? Guys, it's coming to a point that if I'm going to get into Mantra, it's going to be a short-term trade. I'm not trusting Mantra at the current moment. I feel like I need to be patient here, or maybe just forget about the opportunity. It might run, but I'm okay with missing out on Mantra. Mantra has been on a tear for the last months, and I'm not willing to buy into green price action like this. We don't know what's going to happen in the next little while, so I'm going to be safe here and start looking for opportunities that are at the bottom of the range. Algorand took a bit of a dip, obviously, but it's been doing pretty good. Ondo, guys, Ondo ran up. I took a bit of profit on my trade. I was in a bit of a leveraged position. I took profit right around 90 cents. And for me, it's about, okay, maybe I should wait with that capital. Now I have capital to deploy on the dip if we do. I raise capital that way, guys. I'm not committed to Ondo full on. If there's a dip on Ondo, I'll buy back in. I still have my spot trades, no doubt. I'm not selling those. But my, my leverage positions, my short-term spot positions, I'm taking profit. I'm trying to trade the market in such a way that I can farm new tokens by buying low and selling high and rebuying low again, right? So we try to ride the market, the peaks and the valleys, so that we can farm more tokens and ultimately, get those gains to the upside. So a lot of goodness here, guys. 10%. Look at that. Jasmine, Helium. If you're into those, Lido, into those. I don't know what this is, but Goatsius, Max Goat is definitely flying, doing pretty good. Guys, if that's your thing, good stuff. Up 69%. Lots of good gainers. Lots of good gainers. Just understand this, okay? I'm going to leave it here, and then we're going to take a look at the charts. Just understand this, that these dips in bullish conditions, most of the time, they don't last that long. Expect that they're short and sweet and get aggressive comebacks to the upside. Okay, so be prepared. Remember, dips are for buying. All right, guys, let's move on. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin, because in the last little while, Bitcoin has been giving us some signals. Are we going to come down? Are we getting rejected? Or are we going to continue to the upside, enjoy the green that we've been having in the last little while? Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So ultimately, we're seeing that Bitcoin has been showing strength and definitely giving strength to the market in general. It's the signal that allows people to feel confident that the market is ready to go. And based on this signal, we're starting to see a little bit of the retail investor come in, which means that capital inflows are going to definitely be a hot topic. We're going to see some of the capital inflow. Now, reality is it hasn't really started. We haven't really seen some major inflows yet from the retail investor. We've just got into the $3 trillion mark as far as total market cap goes. And we need more capital to inflow, and it's bound to happen, guys. The question is that in the short term, is Bitcoin going to get a rejection? So we hit the 1.618 almost exactly, extension level right here, a target that I've been speaking about the last 2 days, that we have to understand that the 1.27, which was at about 81,000, to the 1.618, both levels are usually really good levels to expect reactions in the market. And it just so happens that we did get a reaction, we dipped very slightly and then continue. Here at the 1.618 extension, we are getting a little bit more of a reaction. As can be seen, the dip was pretty real in the last little bit, but guess what, guys? The recovery was pretty awesome. Okay, now the question is, could we flag out here a little bit more? Are we just going to continue to the upside and hit 100K one-shot deal? Now, to be honest, it would be healthy for Bitcoin to go sideways a little bit, to kind of build a level of support, to kind of get some price action in here so that we can give alts an opportunity. Now, of course, there's no guarantee. The market doesn't owe us anything, right? We have to just ride the market the way it's intended to be. Let's get on lower time frames here a second. And what I like here is at least we're beginning a level that we can have a bit of structure. We see a volume here. We do see some sideways. Ultimately, if we get that bull flag right into here, as Bitcoin goes sideways, we should see the altcoins show tons of strength. Why? Because Bitcoin is no longer an opportunity. As it goes sideways, it becomes a stable coin for a little while. And as it becomes a stable coin, traders, people want to start looking for volatility. And because the volatility right now is bullish, people start looking for entries on projects that are showing strength to the upside. And this is the beginning of a rotation on lower time frames. We always talk about rotation in altcoin season. And the reality is most of us are waiting for the big picture bull run rotation, where we see massive inflows and massive pumps to the upside, and then we get down to a bear market where we start coming down for a few years. The reality is that there are cycles, miniature cycles within lower time frames, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 5 minute, and even the 1 minute. There's short little cycles where we get pops to the upside, bull runs, and bearish retracements. And at the current moment, what we are looking for is an indication of some support for a continuation of this bull run. Okay, so in the short term, things got a little bearish here, but do we expect a continuation? Again, 1.618 hitting 90,000. It's a bit risky. Let's take a look at the oscillators here. What's concerning me here about the 4 hour is that maybe we got way overbought already, and that we could come down for a bit of a dip, even if it's like this, right? Even if it comes down like that a little bit, not even a completely oversold, a bit of a retracement, that would give us an opportunity to buy in even back at about 82, right? Doesn't have to come down that deep, doesn't have to come down that hard. Maybe we come down to 76. What do I know? Ultimately, we have to wait for the indicators to give us that edge. But at the current moment, the only way I would be getting into any fresh longs, both on Bitcoin or altcoins, is ensuring that I have a risk to reward ratio that is in my favor. So a stop loss underneath here, right? We can even go in the 1 hour and see we have a stop, one touch, one bottom. What about if we get rejected and come down for a lower low, guys? That's the issue. You want a few little bottoms in order to kind of build that structure. And if you look at the oscillators, even on the 1 hour, we got severely overbought, almost equivalent to what the 4 hour was showing us. It's almost due for a little bit of a reset, just a little bit of a reset. And then we get, we see the momentum, which is the purple line, get oversold, right? Come down, get to that level, and then we start loading up again, because then we don't have much risk. What I mean by that is, if you go into a fresh long at the current moment, who's to say that we can't do one of these again? And then, do one of these, and then, oversold. Who's to say that can't happen? The risk you take going long is that eventually we start creating a trend to the downside. We got one dip. We didn't make really a lower low. We're getting a bit of support in the chop zone, which is typical. What about a rejection where we go sideways a little bit and then get oversold? And that might give us an opportunity to buy Bitcoin altcoins on a bit of a dip. Now, we know that if that happens, altcoins are going to take a bigger hit. Okay, bigger hit. Right, because the fear in when that Bitcoin brings to the market, as far as the dip goes, makes the risk on assets basically people de-risk, right? So what we have to see is, do we get a dip? Do we eventually build a nice fat structure here for a bull flag where we continue to the upside? And during this moment, we start to see altcoins take full advantage of boring price action on Bitcoin. And if you go back on the daily and you start looking at what I'm saying here, reality is it's not a big deal. Give us a little flag. No big deal. Give us a little bit of an opportunity for Bitcoin to cool off a little bit, and then the altcoins will start catching up to Bitcoin, because we know that there are some altcoins that need a catch up at the current moment. A lot of them are still at the bottom of the range, desperately looking for support. Okay, so Bitcoin right now is still looking healthy. It got a nice recovery in the last little while, but the altcoins really didn't recover as hard as Bitcoin did. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance at the current moment should be very, very strong. And again, we're going to talk about Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum, and any other charts that you want me to take a look at tonight at 8 p.m. EST. Feel free to join. All right, guys, today, Arweave. Let's take a look at what's going on with Arweave. Arweave did exactly what we talked about yesterday. Guys, we talked about Arweave yesterday live, and I talked about the mean reversion. The mean reversion is playing out where the purple line, which is this one right here, Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this bigger. The purple line was way overextended in comparison to the yellow line, right? Which was right here. And they tend to want to get back together. As you noticed, every time they're extended, whether it's away or upwards or downwards, right? They tend to want to meet up again. Right? They have this relationship, this toxic relationship where when they're too close, they push each other away. When they're far away, they want to get back together. So at the end of the day, they were too far away. They want to get back together. They're going to meet halfway, right? More or less. That's usually what happens. So the purple comes down, the moving average goes up, and they meet right around this level. Jitter, jitter, jitter. We figure out where it goes, and then it goes on and usually continues in the direction of the trend. The problem with Arweave, the trend and momentum is pretty stagnant. It's pretty sideways. Right? Very sideways. And we're talking about the daily. And usually when we see momentum stagnant like that, it's ready to explode. We're waiting for an expansion of the momentum in a direction, whether it be bullish or bearish. So my question to you is, do you think that Arweave, based on the current sentiment of the market, do you think that Arweave has a justification to basically pump upwards or drop downwards? And I can clearly say that based on what the market has been doing in the last little while, it wouldn't be surprising to me that Arweave wakes up and pushes upwards. Now, we know why. You know, we have been getting a bit of sell pressure in the last little bit. There was a whale, a big holder of Arweave that sold off. And now that individual is done selling off, and it was all over social. So if you want to go check that out, go feel free. But ultimately, now that that sell pressure is over, we can see Arweave resume its trajectory. The reality is, I think Arweave's tech is really, really healthy, and it's got a lot of good updates coming up that should be really strong catalysts. But as we see momentum go sideways, we have to anticipate that eventually there's going to be that expansion, particularly once we see the momentum and the moving average gap close here. Okay, and they kind of meet each other halfway. Okay, so that's my take there. Now, the trend oscillator, this one right here, EMAs are facing up, green histogram bars are there. We saw many drives of bullish divergence to the upside. Look at this, divergence, 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 and ultimately we see the EMAs basically choppy, 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 also waiting for an expansion. I just want you to see here what's been happening. We got into a very bullish, nice expansion, a little bit of a bearish one, a little bit of a bullish one, and then we got into a massive bullish expansion, excluding all these bullish responses. We got a massive bearish response. And what about now? Do we eventually get up to these higher levels like many other projects did, already getting into the bullish control zone? All it needs to do is get these EMAs into the bullish control zone, which is the top half of this oscillator, and we should see Arweave wake up here. Okay, so let's get back into the price action, because we know that price action is king. But now that we got a sense of where the momentum and the trend is, at least we can go and, you know, make some, a little bit of inferred analysis on the price action. Descending wedge, guys. Very clear descending wedge. Very nice descending wedge. I know it does look a little bit, iffy here at the tail end. But that's what's the sell-off that was induced by a major seller. And then a nice recovery, a V recovery, a massive one. And as we look at that, let's get rid of the oscillators. As we look at that, we start to ask ourselves from a price structure perspective, did we get a change of character? We did not. Okay, we're still making lower lows and lower highs, very clearly in a downtrend, still in a descending wedge, and respecting structure a little bit, right? We got some whipsaw price action, straight down, straight up. That's whipsaw price action that gets longs and shorts wrecked. Lots of emotion up and down like that. But we didn't make a higher high. So we didn't make a higher high. We didn't begin or get an indication of a change of character. We didn't even make a higher low yet. So we didn't get anything really to suggest pivot point structure. Lower lows and lower highs, and then all of a sudden, let's get a higher high. So at least break above this one with some confidence. At least. Did it happen? No. It got rejected. Got rejected right here at a very important level where there's a volume gap and point of control. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting right now, is that the price could be building a higher low confirmation. And that could be even on the 4-hour lower time frames. As you can see, why couldn't we see Arweave's price action gain some support right here and eventually bounce for a higher high and then start expanding? What I'm trying to say here is don't nickel and dime for the perfect entry. Okay, because Arweave was already put through the ringer. And the reality is, I think the majority of the sell pressure is done. So don't try to nickel and dime for the best entry. I would be DCAing. Obviously, not financial advice, but I do put my money where my mouth is. And I would be DCAing all into this level Okay, this is a decent level. You already got the liquidity hunt. People that were going to capitulate already did, and you can see that ultimately we broke above back into the structure, and we're looking for previous price action to act as support and eventually give us that pivot point structure that suggests that we are no longer making downwards trending price action. We're going to make a higher high, let's say a higher low, and then make another higher high and a higher low, and then the trend is your friend, and then we start moving to the upside, and everything starts to look nicely like a pivot point structure right here at the bottom of the range. We need the change of character, and without it, of course, there's still that possibility that we could come down, and this is why DCAing all into this level, this general zone right into here, is a decent area, because ultimately we don't want to break below this low to make that lower low. As long as we make a higher low, it is super bullish for continuation to the upside, guys. Arweave, tech wise, fundamentally is doing good. Price action wise, it's an opportunity. This is a trading zone. If you are a trader, this is something that should be on your watch list, and you should be DCAing and finding great entries for potential recovery eventually. Okay, so doing very, very well. Look at this, beautiful. Even if we like, the lower time frame is still also looking good, respecting price action. Again, we're still curious about what Bitcoin has in store. Right, even Ethereum, right? What does Ethereum has in store for the market? Are we going to see Ethereum show strength? And obviously that would be a good indication that the altcoins have to take advantage of a potential continuation of a short-term season for these altcoins and strength for the altcoins. But ultimately, Arweave is a opportunity at the current moment. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive, massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.